Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Ace of Swords. You're somebody who's tapped in. You've got like a spiritual antenna on top of your head, and I feel like you're receiving a download here. You're someone with clarity. Okay, I think that you're able to take your consciousness out of the chaos of the mind and penetrate into sort of outer space. See, the tip of the sword there is in outer space, and that's where we can receive the starlight, right? And so we're not in the chaos of the mental realm. You have penetrated beyond that into the realm of outer space, receiving the divine energy, the divine information, the download, right? The inspiration, perhaps. You're somebody, I think, who is, you're receiving a really good idea about something. There's some sort of clarity that you've been looking for. There's some sort of a message that you've been waiting to receive. I think it's coming in loud and clear. I think you're somebody with a mission. You're somebody with a purpose in life, you know? And, well, let's put this card into a little bit of context. Let's see what this is all about. Let's see what you're doing with this energy. I feel that, that you right now have you have a direct connection with the divine, okay? We've got more area. We've got a Knight of Swords. We have a Four of Wands. We have the High Priestess. We have a Five of Pentacles. We have a Knight of Wands. Very good. Over here, we have the Hanged Man. We have a Ten of Wands. We have the Princess of Swords and the Nine of Cups, the Happiness. Wow, that's big. That is big. I'm kind of shocked. I didn't expect this. Okay, this changes everything, because I feel that you're getting a revelation in your life. You will be receiving a very intense download very soon that is going to give you the path to your own happiness. It's going to tell you what things you need to start doing right now to really kind of maximize your potential, to live a happy life, to experience abundance in every dimension of your life. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right here with Mr. Tao, the yin yang duck, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay. Now, let's look around the room. We've got two major arcana energies. Very interesting. Because these two, the High Priestess and the Hanged Man, this is like saying, look, your intuition has been trying to send you a message, and it could be that we've been sort of, trying to decipher the message or interpret the message. We've been trying to open ourselves up and receive the message. And once we receive the message, look at this. The Hanged Man is you joining hands with the High Priestess. Look at these two cards. They practically were meant for each other, right? Now, every time I hold this up to the camera, I end up getting in a little bit of trouble on YouTube because, well, they're not wearing any clothes. But that's okay. It's art. The Hanged Man and the High Priestess are meant to be holding hands. This is about the ego surrendering to the divine. This is about you giving in and acquiescing and accepting and surrendering to the will of your true self, to your intuition, to the guiding light coming from the star. Now, this is the high priestess. It is starlight. It is the literal starlight that's coming at you, telling you this is who you are, this is why you're here, this is what you're supposed to do. Okay? And then the hanged man, of course, is accepting the hand that's being offered and allowing that starlight to guide you. And so that really is fantastic, especially as the hanged man is your general energy now, your ego energy, that's saying, okay, I'm letting the high priestess guide me. I'm letting myself be guided. So this is stunning. 2 major arcana cards. We've got fire, we've got water, a lot of air, a little bit of earth. I think the air is what we've been kind of dealing with mostly, because the Knight of Swords here is trying to look into the future and see the plan. So I feel like your intuition is trying to show you what the plan for your life is. And the challenge for you is to see the kind of step-by-step thing. I feel like the plan is being revealed to you. I feel that you're getting a direct perception of what that plan is. And in a way, Spirit wants you to start working on something first. Start doing it. Then the plan will be revealed. I don't think we're going to receive the entire 10 steps, because the knights, remember, the knights are always looking at the future. They're having a vision of the future. So I feel like what Spirit is sending you is literally a vision of what your future is, showing you the steps of the plan. Okay? Showing you, do this first, then do this second, then do this third, right? So it's kind of like we're getting a revelation of an orderly sequence of events, okay? And it may be coming in the form of dreams or waking visions, daydreams, or, active imagination kind of thing. It may be coming in moments of ecstasy, moments of meditation, or just random moments. But you're seeing the step-by-step sequence. Okay, this is going to happen first, and then that will happen. And it's a cascade, okay? And you're getting the vision of that. And I think it's going to lead you to having the vision of the plan, having the vision of the step-by-step sequence of events, then gives you the Knight of Wands, the vision of the step-by-step actions that I need to take. Okay, if this is plan, step 1 through 10, these are actions, step 1 through 10. Okay, so we're having that vision as well, and this is also the card of jumping in, leaping into something, trusting in it. Right? We're not pausing to hesitate. The horse and the rider are one unit. This is the Knight of Wands. It's a very fiery energy, right? And it's in your future position. So the next step for you, once we have the vision of the plan and we kind of say, okay, here's the step-by-step directions, then it's a matter of us driving those directions, It's one thing to get the MapQuest directions all printed out. Okay, turn-by-turn directions. Got it. Got to get in the car and drive. Got to get in the car and trust that those directions will lead you to your destination. Your destination is your destiny, and it's the 9 of Cups. So this is a path that's going to make you very, very happy. But we have to take action. We have to leap without hesitation. The horse and the rider have to be one unit, completely trusting each other. We don't want to put space between the horse and the rider, because then the horse doesn't trust the rider doesn't trust the horse, and guess what? We all fall down. So this card is about trusting something, being completely connected with that intuition or that instinct or that that momentum, that impulse, and letting it happen. It's kind of like you're gonna jump. You're gonna make this big jump in your life, and you want to just trust it. You want to run as fast as you can. You want to jump at the right time. You don't want to be nervous and hesitate, and then you get towards the edge and you try to stop, and then you end up just falling down. You got to believe that it's going to happen. You've got to trust in this fully, no hesitation. Horse and the rider are one unit, and they're charging toward that little hedge, and they're going to leap over the hedge, And I think that's the analogy for this. And I think we need to, moving forward, this is what we need. Okay? Now, down beneath the surface, you have a 4 of Wands. I think that you've recently ended something. You recently, closed some chapter in your life. Okay? I don't know, I kind of feel like we went home, we took care of some business, and now we're ready to set out on our adventure. I don't know what you wrapped up. I don't know if it was like we ended a job, we ended a relationship, we wrapped up some business things, or we kind of finished some paperwork finally, but something has been done and it's over with now for you, okay? And I think that this has allowed you then to sort of invoke that vision of what's happening next, because the Ace of Swords is not like I'm just walking around living my life, then suddenly zap, I get hit with an idea. I think it's the Ace of Swords is something that you've invoked. The Ace of Swords is something that you have intentionally been seeking. We've been asking for it. We've been praying on it. We've been meditating over it. We've been trying to bring it about through our behaviors and our activities, and then zap, there it is. So this is kind of, the Ace of Wands might be a spontaneous awakening. This is an awakening that we've worked for, that we have, that we have struggled to achieve, that you have done the work to take your consciousness out of the mental realm and into the spiritual realm, okay, so that you can receive that information. Yeah, and I think that's a very important part of this. So the Four of Wands is a card of completion. It's a card of wrapping things up. It's a card of conclusions, of resolutions, of the completion of a cycle. Okay, the wrapping up of something. It's some kind of there's been a tying up of loose ends somewhere for you. Okay, and I think you're somebody that doesn't like to start new things until old things have been finished. You don't like to leave things lingering, especially if you're sort of now you have the plan for the next phase of your life. You're going to make sure that you've tied up all the loose ends of the past chapter, okay? And I think that's very, very good. This is the card of cycles. Like I said, it's a human time. This is like I don't know. I feel like you're in a place of transformation. You're in a period of moving from one phase of life to the other. Maybe a rite of passage is taking place for you. Okay, it's an initiation into a new plan, a new adventure, a new path, a new phase of life. Yeah. In the background, you have your High Priestess. There was a time in your life where you didn't really trust the universe, right? You kind of didn't feel that spirit really had your back. This card is like I said, it's the starlight, right? This is the waxing moon, the full moon, the widening of the psychic aperture, the opening of the third eye. And if that is taking place, then there must have been a time where your third eye was closed. Okay, so to me it feels like we're experiencing an awakening that we have worked for, not a spontaneous Kundalini activation, but an intentional, I'm going to do this, I'm putting in the work, I've got the practices, I'm doing something to engage this process. And so there was a time where I think you weren't all that tapped in. Some people are natural psychics, natural mediums, and they don't have to really do the work. It just happens to them, right? I feel like you've cultivated something in your life. You've practiced doing the thing. You've developed your psychic abilities. You've developed your spiritual practice, and you've earned your awakening, right? This is very different than what we sometimes see. Spirit's saying something about a medical issue related to the lungs, what's going on with the lungs, and there's some kind of plant medicine that we're using. I don't know if it's like a topical thing to open up the breathing, or if it's something else, but there's something going on with the lungs, right? I don't know if it's for you or somebody close to you. I feel like you're a family type of person. I feel like you like to spend time with your family, or there was some project you were working on with or for your family recently. And I don't know if it was putting together a scrapbook maybe, or I see you're like labeling things, like photos, names, dates, or documents or something like that. Maybe there's something to there with our Four of Wands as well, right? I feel like you have a commitment to the spiritual work. I feel like you've committed to your own growth. You're an alchemist. You're a metaphysician, right? Even if you don't consider yourself such, I feel that you've committed your life to this kind of spiritual work and spiritual growth. Okay. The topical thing, maybe, is it aloe vera? Kind of seeing the spiky aloe vera stuff. I don't know if that maybe is for you. The next card that we see is the Five of Pentacles. This is up top. This is the card of change. And I feel like this is the motivation for you right now. We're ready for what's next, okay? Because this is a 4. Anytime we get a 4, we start looking for the 5. And there we've got the 5. So this is saying the past is done, the past is closed. I'm ready for the future now. And I think that you're ready for this, the next phase of your awakening, of your expansion, of your ascension, of your initiation. Because what we see in this card is the light that's starting to break through from underneath that crust. Yeah. So it's kind of like we're realizing the next phase of our life is emerging. The next version of ourselves is coming through. And so, you know, it really does feel like we've finished a cycle. We're ready for the next one. And you're somebody that you don't like surprises. You don't want the spontaneous tower event, here's your awakening, here's your life-changing moment. No, you wanted to work on it intentionally and sort of plan it and invoke it. Okay? You weren't looking for just a spontaneous spiritual experience. You're the one that's in the temple, sort of, you know, invoking the Spirit into your life. You know? You've done the work. And I think this is a card of hard work. This is a card that says you've suffered. This is saying that there is some kind of a financial thing going on with you too, that there have been some financial worries. I think that part of this plan for you is going to really remedy the financial worries. I don't feel like your path here is a specifically, directly a financial thing. It's not like I'm going to start a new job. It might have something indirectly related to that, but it's going to help your finances in some way. Okay, I don't know if it has to do with the paperwork or the labeling, putting names and dates and photographs or something. If we're putting together something that is meant to assist with the finances or something along those lines. Okay, but the 5 is that card of change, and I think it's saying that we're ready for the next change. We're not looking to stay the same. The 4 of Wands is very interesting because to me this is a welcome home. But it's also a bon voyage. It's the circle that goes around again and again. And it's a spiral, right? So every time it's kind of like we're going out, we're having the adventure, we're coming home, we're putting the money in the safe. We're going back out again, having an adventure, we're coming home, we're putting the gold in the safe, you know? And I think we're ready to go out again and find what's next for us and do the next thing. And of course, the next thing is something that you're leaping into. Yeah, something that we are not hesitating to engage with. Now, it's interesting that we go from this double fire card to this now intense water energy. Path of the Serpent now, this is the Hanged Man. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. The Hanged Man is the card of surrender, of suffering, of sacrifice, of acquiescing, of taking the hand that's being offered to us, of allowing ourselves to be guided and led by Spirit. This is the ego saying, I'm giving up my interference, I'm not going to cause problems, I'm not going to resist, I'm going with the flow of this spiritual current. So it's really not incompatible, right? It's not incompatible with this fire energy, because this is our faith and our trust jumping into something and kind of letting go, the ego getting out of the way, right? And allowing this energy to take us over. So when we're invoking the spiritual energy, it's like we have to surrender the Spirit. We have to actively invoke the spiritual energy, but at the same time, we have to passively get the ego out of the way so that we can be filled with the divine light. So it really is a union of opposites. It's a combination of active and passive. We have to actively do the thing and say the words and ask and strive for that spiritual awakening. And then we have to, of course, be wide open to receive it. And this receiving is what I consider the equivalent of you taking the hand of Spirit. And we flip these cards upside down, we can see the spiritual energy descending into your receptive body. right? Descending into your sort of willingness, into your openness, right? Because you're in this posture of receptivity. And really, it's kind of, when we flip the cards this way, it's really that our ego is descending. We're descending ourselves down into spirit in a way, right? You can look at it in either direction. It means pretty much the same thing. Because now spirit has these arms wide open in this posture of receptivity. See, the high priestess has that posture. So spirit is receiving you as a faithful, as a disciple, as a willing sort of participant in the spiritual life. So it could be, with this Hanged Man, it could be that we have started some very intense spiritual practices recently, and that we are, we're managing our ego so that we can receive the grace of the divine. We can receive that spiritual energy, and so we can do the work that is meant for us, because again, that Ace of Swords feels like you've figured out your mission. You know that you have a path in life and there's something that you're meant to do. Of course, we see you doing that next with the Ten of Wands. This is a very intense card. This is pedal to the metal. This is in your environment. This is in the position of your relationships. This is you being of service to everybody. I feel that this is really you putting in 110% effort into whatever this mission or path or purpose is that's been revealed to you. Giving it everything you've got. This is a very generous energy. You're very generous and giving with your time, effort, energy, and or money. And we're putting all of our resources to work on this path with this mission that is yours now. Okay? Like I said, this is the card of generosity. Yeah. And so it's in your environment, it's in your relationships. So these are all the things that you're giving your attention to, because now I feel like Spirit has given you the plan, and now it's up to you to act on that plan and put that plan into action and give yourself to this work. The spiritual work is work. Your mission in life is work. Okay? Whatever that path is for you, this is your devotion of time, effort, energy, and money. Okay? Now, we still have a little bit of a challenge with our Princess of Swords. This is in the position of the fear, the worry, the concern, the difficulty. And part of that difficulty is our chaotic, rational mind. It is that mental sphere that is questioning things, that's doubting things, that's kind of wondering, like, is this true? Am I capable of it? This is the card that sometimes has doubts. This is like the devil's advocate part of our mind that's saying, yeah, but, this is the way. And I think it's very healthy, because we have these great ideas, we have this big spiritual revelation. We have to have that part of our mind that says, let's think about this for a second. Let's talk this through. Let's vet this. Let's ask the questions. It's kind of like you're being peer reviewed in the science community, but it's by your own mind. That's saying, well, let me analyze this. Let me vet this. Let me put holes in this. Let me see if this revelation really stands to reason. And I think that's a good thing to do, because we don't want to take any impulse we might feel, any energy we might receive as being gospel, and then we act on it and we think, well, that was a bad idea. So it's always good to test these things with that part of your mind that's like just trying to learn. It's like, let me think this through, let me explore the options, let me vet this idea and make sure that it holds water, make sure that it feels sound. Let me make sure that it is healthy and responsible, and it is just and virtuous and all these things, right? So I feel that there's always going to be a little bit of doubt. And I think that doubt is good. A little bit of, let's say, skepticism. And I think we all need a healthy dose of skepticism. We don't want to be the fanatic. We don't want to be the overzealous one, right? So anyone who's on a spiritual path, I think it's necessary that we pursue a little course in skepticism, so we understand how to think and how to analyze our thinking and how to think about thinking and how to how to talk about our ideas, dialogue with our ideas, even just to ourselves, within ourselves, in order to say, yeah, this is not, I'm not just getting carried away by something that's like way far out there for no reason. This is something that is, that seems very real, and it seems very true, okay? So this is that final stage before we get to the really, we're living a happy life. You got that 9 of cups at the end there, and that is happiness. This is you pursuing your happiness. This is you following your bliss, okay? This is superabundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. So it's in every dimension of your life is going to improve. You will be experiencing joy and jubilation in every dimension of your life. And that's sort of like what the Princess of Swords is kind of asking, like, is this going to be good for me financially? Yeah. Is this something that's good for me physically? Is it going to be a healthy thing? Yeah. How about my mental emotional state? Is this something that seems like it is stabilizing and healthy and adaptive mentally and emotionally? Yeah. Is this something that has a sense of purpose to it? Does it feel like a spiritual path? Does it put me in touch with my highest good, my highest love? Am I being creative? Does this feel like this is inspired by something beyond ego? Yes, 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 and yes again. And that's how we kind of know that, okay, I can trust this intuitive feeling. I can trust this revelation that's been provided to me. So we have to be able to vet this and not just blindly follow something that may, come to us. And I've seen a lot of spiritual people be led astray by that because they will have some so-called revelation in a meditation or in a ritual or during prayer, and they will run with it. And it will not turn out well for them because they don't have that healthy bit of skepticism, or they didn't at the time, that said, okay, wait a minute, let me ask the questions. Is this something that's leading me toward disaster or ruin or kind of influencing me to do something I shouldn't do, right? And it doesn't mean that there's not an element of risk. Of course there is risk, right? But we have to be able to distinguish between the intuition and the chaotic mind. And that's what you're doing here, because you've understood that your consciousness has to penetrate outside the mental realm and really tap into that spiritual consciousness. And that intuition will be a calm and steady voice. It will usually be very consistent, whereas our thoughts are very fast and very chaotic. The intuition will be calm and pretty steady in its message to you, right? And it will always be leading you to your best life. And we have to kind of work out the details. That's why we need the Knight of Swords to help us see, like, okay, this is what my intuition is telling me. How do I see that really playing out? Can I see that my intuition is leading me to my best life, leading me to my paradise, my big rock candy mountain, leading me to my superabundance? We may not have all of the answers to all of the questions, though, okay? So that's where it's kind of dangerous for the Princess of Swords, because we could be asking so many questions and we could totally talk ourselves out of doing something that's really meaningful. So we don't expect all of the answers. We don't expect to have all the right answers. We don't expect to know everything. We have to give ourselves permission to say, I don't know the answer to that question, but a lot of things pretty much check out here, so I'm going to go with it. Okay? I'm pretty confident that this is my intuition leading me to my best life and not some other whim or impulse, right? But we're not going to know everything. We will not, it's kind of like we just have to prove it to ourselves beyond a reasonable doubt. And then we initiate, we jump in, we leap in full force, we go for it, and we get happy. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. This is the guide. This is your inner wisdom, your higher self, the teacher within you that is waiting to lead you on to your happiness. What is this message? It might be the Empress. It might be another 9 or a 10 of Cups or a 9 or a 10 of Pentacles. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. The Ace of Pentacles. It is Spirit showing you the door and saying, there's the door to your next adventure. Because remember we said this is a welcome home, but it's also a bon voyage. This is Spirit saying bon voyage. This is Spirit saying, here's some money for your pocket, hit the road. Right? Because we see that little archway in the background, that little, the portal. And it's Spirit saying, here's some supplies that you need. Here's a little bit, something to get you started. Now go. Go and do this thing, right? And this is earth energy too. So to me, it feels like it's also the remedy for your financial situation. 5 + 1 is 6, 6 of Pentacles. So I think that's a very good omen as well, that this is something that is going to lead to your financial stability, your financial success, but it's so much more than that, okay? This may be, well, maybe I'm being corrected. Maybe it is more of a job or something physical related, and has a lot of other dimensions to it. Okay, this is very, very good. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner, and there's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Taurus on Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.